Anupam Kher, active on social media, supports the BJP. There is Rahul Narvekar of the NCP with me here in the studio. Suhel Seth, active on Twitter. He's joining us from London. Mohandas Pai from Infosys. Meenakshi Lekhi and Sanjay Jha completing the panel this evening of the BJP and the Congress. Thank you very much. Many of our panelists I see are active on Twitter, at least most of them. Okay, so what's the big deal, Meenakshi Lekhi? The government says, what's the big deal? We were simply trying to archive something. What's the big deal here?
No, archive how? By not handing over that data? Because this particular data is the property of the country. This is a national asset. It belongs to the office of the Prime Minister. This is not Mr. Manmohan Singh in individual capacity. Now when Mr. Narendra Modi takes over as the Prime Minister, PMO India will belong to him, and simultaneously, if he chooses, he can run Narendra Modi simultaneously. Because these two are two different handles. The office of Obama, if is available on the net, it is always mentioning the fact that this is a personal tweet written by Obama himself, or this is done by his office, because these are things which are handled. If from an office, it is from an office. If a CM, anybody who's holding any government position, it has to be handed over to the next government in that right. And this is a question of who has the right over that intellectual property, and what is a proper handing over. The proper handing over is all official records go to the next team.
Why was this done, Sanjay Jha? Let's get the other side before. Why was this done? And by the way, in between, something very worrying happened. It was actually claimed by an outside person. I think I have the name here. An outside person, another individual actually picked up the handle. You realize how serious this is? Sanjay Jha, that person who claimed the handle, PMO India, could have, if he wanted, sent out any tweet from an official account. Is there no sense of responsibility left in the Manmohan Singh group? Are you so possessive about the PMO India handle that you're even willing to compromise national security by leaving it fenceless? Why was this done, Mr. Jha?
You know, Arnab, I'll just give you the latest update on it. I've spoken to Mr. Pankaj Pachauri, who was, part of the PMO office. And, let me tell you the facts as they are. Most importantly, we need to recognize this, that, social media is in a process of evolution. There has been no established protocol in terms of what will happen if there's a change in government with any particular Twitter handle.
Oh, please.
So that's one part of
it's a PMO India handle. It is not Manmohan Singh's handle. What is this argument?
Let me explain. Let me explain to you. Give me a minute.
So you realize the seriousness of the situation? Which world does this happen? The Twitter handle of the Prime Minister of India is picked up by a private citizen because of what you've done.
Let me explain to you. No, let me explain to you. There has been a very transparent handover of all the internet inventory, whether you call them digital assets or by any other terminology. That process is already on. Let me tell you right now that the PMO has in fact discussed that with the Twitter authorities itself.
So please, sure no, you are misrepresenting facts.
Will be with Mr.
You are misrepresenting facts.
Let me clarify to you.
Mr. Jha,
Mr. Narendra Modi as a Prime Minister will have full access to the PMO office. Listen, you are raising a sensitive issue. Let me explain that.
I'm telling you, Mr. Jha, the
followers, the 1.24 million followers,
Mr. Jha, you are now forcing me to reveal some facts.
The third point, the content is also going to be there.
You are forcing me to reveal some inside details.
Whatsoever. The content, the handle, the followers will all be there. There's going to be no change. A status quo.
Mr. Jha,
as far as the archives are concerned, they will also be archived to maintain the RTI regulations and to fulfill any query that comes from the public in the future.
First, let's get one thing straight. That Twitter handle is not the private property of Manmohan Singh or Pankaj Pachauri's digital media advisor, right? Mohandas Pai. It is the digital asset of the Prime Minister, elected Prime Minister of India, the Prime Minister of 1.25 billion people. And do you realize how serious it is, Mohandas Pai, that when that handle, which is the handle of the elected Prime Minister of India, the leader of 1.25 billion people, goes into the hands of a private citizen because of this unholy mess up? unholy mess up.
Yeah,
Mohandas Pai.
Arnab, it shows a lack. Arnab, it shows a lack of grace. It shows a lack of understanding, and maybe a deliberate intent to make sure that this is kept aside and not handed over. But I think to give the benefit of the doubt, I would say is a lack of grace and lack of understanding shouldn't have been done. And I think it compromised in the meantime between the handover and the new equipment coming to the office.
Truly.
Some kind of a security issue, because like you said, could have been taken over by somebody and you tweet anything that you want, because it's a very high security matter belonging to the Prime Minister's office, should have been handled with care. I think it's a very sad reflection on how the transition was done.
Sohel and Anupam Kher, please come into the debate. The question,
secure transfer is already happening under the
Sanjay Jha. Sanjay Jha.
Transfer
will this gentleman keep quiet, whoever he is?
The PMO handle will be with the new government and the Prime Minister.
You are doing no favor, but you tried to take it away. Why did you do it?
Intact.
Why did you've been voted out?
I don't think so.
You want to run away with the Twitter handle?
Intent whatsoever. Arnab, please do not doubt the intent whatsoever.
I am not doubting the intent.
Not
you went against
Absolutely.
Twitter India's advice.
Very transparent.
Twitter India
and being done.
Please, the Twitter India and the Prime Minister's office were in contact since the first week of May when Mr. Pachauri approached them for PMO account transition. Twitter suggested to the PMO to archive their entire history of tweets till date by downloading it in a set format instead of changing the account. Mr. Pachauri refused to accept the suggestion and without informing Twitter or officially approaching them, changed the account from PMO India to PMO India Archive. Do you realize how serious this is? Technically, it should have been the decision of the new PMO to take a call. And how horrible is it, Mr. Sanjay Jha, that Twitter has to come in to resolve this dispute between the past government and the way it should be handled over? I mean, it's acutely embarrassing. Suhel Seth.
Arnab, two or three things. Whoever that gentleman is speaking, saying, oh, Narendra Modi will have access. Of course, for God's sake, he is the Prime Minister to be. So obviously he'll have access. You're lucky that they didn't ask Google to search for Manmohan Singh, given their proclivity towards seeking intervention from everyone else. I think it is absolutely stupidly handled. And I don't put it past behind the dolts who were part of the PMO at some stage or the other. I mean, these are process-driven issues. It doesn't take rocket science or an economist to decide where the Twitter handle resides. For the entire country to be seized, and I think you made an important point, Arnab, it's about that squatter who claimed that PMO handle. I mean, he could have created havoc. But then again, if he's part of the PMO, you wouldn't give him so much of intelligence to do even that. Having said that, I think it establishes three things. Mohandas Pai referred to one of them. Number one, we are ungraceful and insensitive about transitions in an orderly, precise and process-driven manner. Number two, we do not believe that the institution is more important than the individual. The Prime Minister's office is far more significant and more important than any individual. Number three, we are a country which is huge on digital. The security issues linked to digital, including the havoc that digital can create. I mean, you remember a year and a half or 2 years ago, what happened with Northeastern children, with the children from the Northeast in Bangalore, all based on, SMSs and digital interventions. We need to be more sensitive. We are running this like a goddamn cowboy country, which I find appalling. And for then spokespeople from the ruling party or erstwhile ruling party to turn up and say that, no, we had done this, that's not important. Operation successful, patient dead. My worry, Mr. Jha, is not that you did it with any evil intent. No one is questioning that. I'm questioning the Keystone Cops mechanism with which the government has forced a transition to the next government. That, to my mind, is a telling example of how Prime Minister Manmohan Singh
they create a separate archive.
Didn't know what the goddamn arm was doing.
I'd like to go to Mr. Anupam Kher. So here
There's no separate archive.
Mr. Jha.
I'm sorry. The Prime Minister's office, the PMO India was not sending out tweets which were linked to any historical or, literary pursuit. They were sending out information, and I think rather than archiving it in a manner of speaking, it's for the public to see. I mean, Pachauri was sending us more graphs than we've seen in geography.
Well, he could have been sending it.
Is something that needs to be highlighted.
But how did this happen? You see, there has been today a serious breach in security. I know you want to come in, Rahul, here, but I'll go to Mr. Kher first, because the seriousness of the issue is indeed not something we can override. A gentleman called Kaisar Ali, I am told, claims the handle. So the PMO India handle is left empty. And one person says, I took the name away. One person says, PMO India was available, I took it. And at the end of the... No, please, there has to...
here to correct you. I don't think the information you have at hand is correct. The Prime Minister's office has just given a clarification some time back, which I have also read on the internet, which says that the PMO India handle as well as the new archive handle that has been created is both in the possession of the Prime Minister's office.
Is in possession, but it was taken. Now it is in possession.
Therefore, I don't think
no. Nobody is misleading.
The viewers or the country.
Nobody is misleading. Nobody is misleading.
Means they were
The fact is, nobody is misleading. The fact is, it was taken away for a period of time. And
now, both the Twitter handles are in the possession of the Prime Minister's office.
You tell me if the enemies of this country, had accessed the PMO India handle and sent out a series of irresponsible tweets, who would be sweeping that away?
Well, I'm sure this issue has been dealt with by the Prime Minister's office. There's nothing of the sort that has been happened. We are making a mountain out of a mole. I'm sure the new regime, which is to come to power, realizes this. The Bharatiya Janata Party should focus their attention on more serious issues which they've taken up during their campaign.
This is the damn serious issue.
This is nothing but an unwanted controversy that is trying to be made out. So let's not ridicule the office of the Prime Minister. Let's not attribute malice to the office of the Prime Minister.
I find your attitude tonight most surprising, Mr. Anupam Kher, Mr. Rahul Narvekar, because you don't have a strand of logic in your argument. The fact is, I asked what was the need to create a separate Twitter account that archives Manmohan Singh's PMO tweets, when obviously there will be no PMO tweets coming from that account? Anupam Kher is coming in, and I saw your hand go up there.
Accidental Twitter account.
Yes, Anupam Kher first. Anupam Kher.
There is an answer to that question.
I think there is a saying that you can't wake up a person who is pretending to sleep. And that's how people like Sanjay Jha are, and they just want to sort of say, they just want to justify everything that is wrong. It's not possible. This is completely unprofessional thing to do, apart from the security reasons. This is absolutely unacceptable. This is also lack of grace. You at least in defeat one should show grace.
Absolutely.
Forget about everything else. And I would like to believe that Mr. Manmohan Singh and his PMO, the PMO earlier, had a lot of grace to do this. To do something, this is such a petty thing to do. You move out of this place, at least move out of with a certain amount of grace. We are having a discussion about something on which no person should defend their action. This is completely unacceptable, and it's silly, I think, for me to even comment on it. I thought that all the panelists on this channel today should be saying this is absolutely wrong. You cannot. It's like being PMO and then not leaving 7 race course, or not leaving things that are there.
Ridiculous example.
So, and forget about that, as you said very rightly,
or
if
taking away
PMO
things.
India goes with somebody else...
Well, I wouldn't have expected this kind of an example from a person of Mr. Anupam Kher's stature. I expect something better than this from him. Please understand, we are trying to ridicule the office, Prime Minister's office, for such a petty issue which has not been done deliberately. Maybe there was an error, but that does not mean that we ridicule the office. Are you trying to attribute malice to the Prime Minister's office based on this? If that's the case, you level charges. You tell me what has been done. Has he siphoned off any data? Has he deleted any data? No charges leveled against him. We are just aimlessly making allegations, saying things which cannot be proved.
No, 1 second.
It's not a question of allegation, it's a matter of common sense.
What common sense are you talking about? What has he done? 1 minute.
Common sense.
1 minute. What has he done? He has archived the data which was available on that account.
You go against Twitter's advice.
Why is it done?
Why exactly? Why is
okay,
1 minute? Let me make one point. No, 1 second, Rahul Narvekar. You tell me one thing. The 1.4 million people follow the PMO India handle, right? Right?
Yeah.
You tell me today, why should you basically what you're saying?
Mr. Arnab,
1 second, please. Please allow me.
1.2
Why should those
1.24 million people haven't disappeared? That data is still available on the new account that has been created.
No, you admit it. You admit it.
It's not that the data has been deleted.
No,
Why don't you understand that?
You admit it.
Congress have 2 spokespeople on the channel tonight?
No, 1 second. Yeah, no, there is Rahul Narvekar of the NCP previously with the Shiva Sena. He's now with the NCP. He's also batting on behalf of the Congress party.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah. So anyway, point is, I have a simple point. I'm going to Meenakshi Lekhi.
I think Rahul's point is, are we ridiculing the office of the Prime Minister? The answer is no. We are ridiculing the process of transition for which some heads should roll. That is what we are ridiculing. And we are not even ridiculing. Rahul Narvekar, we are suggesting the damage that could have happened. The fact that it hasn't happened is, can't be given credit for to Manmohan Singh.
No, 1 minute.
The point we are making very simply is, a transition needs to be graceful,
Arnab,
it needs to be measured, and it needs to be process-driven. There's no point defending it.
No,
we all need to accept that, yes, a human error was made and move on.
It can happen if Mr. Sanjay Jha says sorry tonight.
All the internet inventory, all the digital assets will be with the PMO's office.
He won't.
It's already done. In fact, I don't know if you are having this discussion. I'm glad it's highly animated, but the truth is the handle, the content, the followers, everything is in place.
Sanjay, 1 minute. I think it's a very sad thing which you are saying right now.
But I just want to
it's a very sad thing which you are saying right now. It's a very sad and sorry statement you are making, Sanjay, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. No, I think it's a sad and sorry statement which speaks of a great amount of partisan prejudice.
Motives where there are none.
It's a partisan.
I object to the fact that somebody said there is something to hide. There is nothing to hide. What is there to hide at all? It would still be, even assuming there was an archive site, it would still be there.
Mr. Jha, now Meenakshi Lekhi will respond to you. No, 1 minute. Just a minute. Just a minute, Mr. Jha. I actually thought today that you would be demure in your response because of the 3 critical, horrible mistakes which have been made. 1.4 million followers of the PMO India have been shifted to some PMO archive and then been told, if you want to contact Narendra Modi, start all over again. Well, those people, Mr. Jha, for your information, are following the Prime Minister of India. They are not following an individual. Second point, this asset, PMO India, represents the views of the PM of this country. And thirdly, can you imagine that the Twitter account, which is a fast social media outreach of the Prime Minister of 1.25 billion people, was left empty and taken away by somebody in between, which is a terrible security breach. What if that individual had said 3 or 4 extremely dangerous and provocative things, for example, vis-a-vis Pakistan? Don't tell me it wouldn't have happened. It is a ridiculous situation which happened in a state of panic. Meenakshi Lekhi responding now to you. Mr. Jha, let Meenakshi Lekhi come in. No, let Meenakshi Lekhi come in. After that, you can come back.
I think Pankaj's viewpoint was that there was a change in government. So if you put the older one under archives, there would be nothing really serious wrong.
Who is Pankaj Pachori in this?
It was of a previous government. That's all.
Mr. Jha, here Meenakshi Lekhi.
Sanjay, listen, who is Pankaj Pachori? We are not talking about individuals. Pankaj Pachori was in the media office of the Prime Minister. We are not talking about him alone. We are talking about a measured transition which should have happened. And for God's sake, please don't defend a colossal error. The fact that nothing damaging occurred out of the error is something that we should thank our stars for. But let's not carry out a meek defense just because we are supposed to represent a particular point of view.
Agreed.
As simple as that.
No, agreed. Meenakshi Lekhi.
Everybody's, See, first thing is, it is illegal, unethical, apart from being disgraceful. That's a separate part of the story. But I have a very simple question. The tweets of the Prime Minister, what is so special that they should archive it and make them not available and tell the new PMO to create the account and get the followers? And completely in a new format. Now, whatever has been written from the
Lekhi,
office
it is mandatory to have these tweets archived. This is information which is required statutorily to be archived.
To complete?
I thought you would know.
No, one
Of
second.
course
No,
it is
no, no.
required.
One
It is
second. It will
statutory
be archived, but for no media advisor of the
And
Prime
it
Minister
should
can
have
run away with it a few days before retiring. Please, don't be
No
ridiculous.
one is running away
With the
with it. Why are you
password, he
misleading
cannot.
people?
He cannot run away
It has
with the
been
password
archived
even.
and
Just a
it's
minute.
available.
Then why are you changing the name? What's the big deal? Why are you changing the
It's
name?
a handing
available
over
means
process.
what?
It may not be the
Can I
best
tell you?
process, but there is no malice cannot be
actually the
attributed to
strategy
it.
has fallen flat. The strategy has fallen flat on them. That's a separate story. But they have done a most disgraceful act. We can't shy away from speaking this language for the simple reason. What was required to be done is handing over of the password in an envelope.
Exactly.
You are the new PM or this is the new PMO. Kindly manage this account your way. Up till this is it. And if there was any worry on account of certain deletions or some sort of management which could go against the PMO in creating the history or distorting it, they should have kept a copy. Simple as that. Why has this
Or you
not
could
been
have
done?
said the Prime Minister is
maybe
not in office
if you go in
for
detail,
the
there
next
is some
10
more
years or something.
something linked somewhere which we are not aware of.
Come on,
This
for
is-
God's
No, one
sake, we
second.
need to
I
get
don't
over this
understand.
system.
No, no,
This
no, no, one second.
Something
Somebody
maybe
is
somewhere.
removing the
If you think
papers.
there's something wrong, pinpoint with that.
One second. This is to Meenakshi Lekhi, please, from
No, how would I know? I haven't even
If you
got
don't
the
know, then
access.
don't make such
I don't even
allegations.
have the access. I
You're
don't
making
understand the
allegations
logic.
against the PMO, one of
It is an illogical
Arnab,
act.
most important
Arnab.
office in this country.
Can
I mean, the
Rahul.
Bharatiya
That's right.
Janata Party
Rahul.
seems
And how
to
has
have
that
got into
office
this
been
habit
conducting?
of making
let me
How has
unfounded
office been
allegations.
conducting its business? It's apparent.